everyone. As you can see, I am not Craig Daly. He is for work in North Carolina this evening with Eddie. I am going to be both your host and your presenter this evening. I'm Cindy Clement. I've been learning about and educating about health since about the mid 1970s. I'm a nutritionist and herbalist. I'm a nationally certified or credentialed health educator. I'm an adjunct professor teaching a graduate level course called Functional and Integrative Medicine, but I'm also an avid, oops, hold on here. Oh goodness, what have I got going here? Oh geez, oh, goodness gracious, I've got to make this work. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm um, I also am an avid cyclist. I enjoy hiking and snowshoeing and skiing and many of those outdoor sports. So welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. And tonight, as you're probably very well aware, we're going to be focusing on the new Fulvic Minerals Plus. So it's going to be a really interesting presentation. I had a lot of fun putting it together and kind of talking about what we're going to be focusing on tonight. Now, most adults and children today come in contact with less dirt and soil and organic crops and plants, as well as ocean water, than they did in past generations. And so our immune systems don't really have a chance to become familiar with different types of organisms. And therefore, our immune system doesn't learn to protect us as well as it could. And you see, in the past, our food supply was higher in naturally occurring fulvic acid and other nutrients because the soils were less depleted. There were pesticide and herbicide chemicals that were sprayed far less often, and people were less concerned about sanitizing all of their produce because these modern farming techniques leave little time for the fulvic acid to accumulate in the soil. And this can lead to an overgrowth of pathogens as well as a reduction in those beneficial microbes in our food supply. Unfortunately, many people today don't have access to organic foods, and so therefore they're deficient in at least several key nutrients because of that highly processed diet that they are consuming. Now, because our immune system is largely made up of healthy bacteria that live within our gut and thrive off various nutrients, this overly clean, highly processed lifestyle raises the risk for many of the health problems associated with gut health, poor gut health. So the research has shown that exposure to more natural organisms found in soil, such as fulvic acid, has benefits for our digestion, for boosting our nutrient absorption, for our gut health, for our immune health, for our cognitive functioning, for our energy levels, for protection from infections and viruses and yeast and fungus, as well as boosting our skin health, slowing down the aging process, and so much more. Now, fulvic acid is not a mineral. Basically, what it is it's a compound that's formed when microorganisms in soil break down plant and animal material over long periods of time. And in some cases, this process can take centuries to occur. But fulvic acid is also formed simply in the breakdown of food in your compost bin. And it's through this composting, it's through using these replenishing the soil that's higher in that fulvic acid. So fulvic acid can be extracted from compost and soil and other substances and then processed into a supplement. Now you can find fulvic acid in clay. You can find it in weathered coal. You can find it in sand, in mountain rocks, and in mud. And it'll have different properties depending on where it's sourced from. Well, for instance, fulvic acid from sand in Israel is going to have different properties than the peat moss in Canada or in the mountain rocks from the Colorado or the Himalayas, for example. So additionally, fulvic acid is found in what's called the humus part of soil, and it's also pretty much found in streams and lakes. Now, the term shilajit, which is spelled Shiljit, shilajit, it often comes up when you're searching for fulvic acid. And what shilajit is it's a very thick, um, kind of sticky, tar-like substance that's found among the rocks in the Himalayan mountains, but the majority is coming from areas where mining has been going on for centuries. Now, shilajit does have challenges. It was previously banned in Canada due to its heavy metal content and other potential toxins. It's also been known to have a smell and a taste that's undesirable. Shilajit is often sold in a raw or unprocessed form, and it can even contain fungus growth. Some forms of shilajit can also contain high levels of free radicals, which of course cause damage to cells and other cellular structures in our body. Now, approximately 3% of the Earth's surface is covered in peat bogs that have been developing for thousands of years. Now, Canada, remember, we've got 3% of the Earth's surface. Canada contains approximately 25% of the entire world's peatlands, and these natural peat bogs are handled in an extremely environmentally sustainable manner. Presently, Canada supplies approximately 80% of North Americans' peat moss requirements. The most extensive of all the peatland concentrations occur in the Hudson Bay lowlands of Ontario and Manitoba, but the peatlands are also really abundant in northern Alberta, central Saskatchewan, Quebec, as well as in the Atlantic provinces. So the humus is made up of many organic compounds found in Earth's soils and rocks and sediments and bodies of water, and it's the partially decomposed matter that is the basis of this humus. Now, fulvic acid is only one component of that humus, but this is that what we call the highly nutritious layer of the earth. And it's in this highly nutritious layer that it feeds the plants and ensures that they grow strong and healthy. Now, fulvic acid is often termed as nature's miraculous molecule, and it really is termed that for a good reason. This extraordinary compound is created in extremely small amounts by millions of beneficial microbes that work on this decaying matter, and it combines with a variety of minerals to create a very complex molecular compound. And it works to activate the nutrients within the soil so that they can be utilized by the cells of plants. Now, again, as modern farming practices, they've destroyed our soils and they've left them devoid of minerals, and they've disrupted the proliferation of this miracle molecule in the soil. And therefore, the plants, the animals, and the humans were all very short on fulvic acid content in our bodies. Now, fulvic acid has been indirectly utilized in traditional Indian medicine for roughly 3,000 years. And it was used to treat a wide scope of health conditions, most of which can be traced back to poor digestive and immune health. Now, as per these ancient texts, fulvic acid was shown to have immune modulating effects. It acted as an antioxidant, a diuretic, and antihypertensive, was also able to balance blood sugar. Now, over the past several decades, we've learned a lot more about how fulvic acid found in dirt can actually improve human gut health and therefore immune functioning. Today, people supplement with fulvic acid as well as probiotics to reestablish and replenish what is being lost in their diets due to these modern farming techniques. Now, the organisms in soil contain a plethora of nutrients and active compounds that can help improve our health. Compounds such as trace minerals and electrolytes, fatty acids, silica, which boosts our collagen production, prebiotics, probiotics, and just things like that. So, fulvic acid can supply many of the minerals and nutrients that people are missing today. And as an active chemical compound, it works in a way to help us absorb and use other nutrients better, such as probiotics and phytonutrients and fatty acids and minerals. Now, many people consider it to be the ultimate nutrition booster, and it also helps to counteract that free radical damage as well. Research suggests that something unique about fulvic acid when compared to other organisms found within the soil is that it's able to easily pass through cellular membranes. And what this does is it allows it to be properly absorbed and to boost the assimilation of other nutrients. And as mentioned before, fulvic acid is not a mineral itself. It's a compound that has the ability to attract and bind with many molecules and transporting these nutrients in the plants. So, buying organic increases the amount of fulvic acid from the foods that you ingest because, as we mentioned, these modern farming methods don't allow for the enrichment of the soil to occur. Instead, they've got these overcrowding fields and they use pesticides and herbicides and fungicides, which inhibit the natural microbial strains that we need, as well as reducing that fulvic acid content. Now, fulvic acid benefits humans for the same reason that it benefits the plants. It improves the plant's ability to grow, improves our ability to grow, because what it does is it improves or increases the permeability of the plant's membranes that absorb nutrients from the ground. So fulvic acid does have several what we call nutraceutical properties, including having antimicrobial effects and immune regulating abilities. But most notably, it's been shown to have the potential for preventing chronic inflammatory disorders in the body. Fulvic acid is a natural, powerful antioxidant that helps to neutralize free radicals. And we did a webinar on this, so I'm sure you're very familiar with that whole process because free radicals are harmful. They're highly reactive compounds and they cause the destruction of soft tissue in our body. Free radicals encourage cell mutations. They can alter our genes. They can disrupt chemical and hormone reactions within our body. They can destroy the optimal functioning of our glands and make us more susceptible to disease. But fulvic acid contains antioxidants that counter the effects of these free radicals and also helps detoxify the body of the chemicals used in agriculture, in radioactive waste, and in heavy metals. Now, fulvic acid also helps extend the permeability and the life of the cells in humans by providing electrolytes that have numerous functions in the heart, in the muscles, in the brain, in the digestive tract. And Many people taking fulvic acid supplements have reported improvements in their energy levels. And that's probably due to the increased detoxification, the lower levels of inflammation and free radical damage, and the higher intakes of electrolytes and other key nutrients. Now, due to its anti-inflammatory properties, fulvic acid is useful for lowering chronic nerve pain, headaches, and joint, bone, and muscle pains associated with aging. And there's even some evidence that fulvic acid's electrolytes can help reduce swelling, soothe and relax muscles, as well as improve circulation. In animal studies, it showed that fulvic acid can decrease the LDL cholesterol. So we call that the bad cholesterol. But according to the human studies, it can also raise the HDL, the good cholesterol. So there are many studies that show the positive effects of fulvic acid on the cardiovascular system. And these reports indicate that fulvic acid may help in the control of elevated blood pressure within just a few weeks of using it. Fulvic acid may even relieve things like altitude sickness or enhance that immune response, stimulate energy production, as well as improve oxygen levels in the body. And as previously mentioned, fulvic acid has been shown to increase the absorption of nutrients in our body. So the compounds that are found in fulvic acid help nourish that digestive tract and boost the ability of the good bacteria to repopulate and form a healthy microbiome environment and thereby improve gut functioning. There's also some evidence that by consuming fulvic acid that one can help decrease digestive disorders, including something called SIBO, SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, as well as other inflammatory bowel disorders. So we need that strong digestive system to build immunity, to help control our hormone production, to regulate our appetite, as well as reduce our stress response. Now, a contributing factor to the development of cognitive disorders is free radical damage, as well as a type of protein called tau, TAU. But studies show that fulvic acid helps to lower the length of the tau fibrils and disassemble their performance and stop disease progression. Researchers have also recently concluded that fulvic acid may promote brain health and memory recall with its what we call neuroprotective properties. This is also very interesting, I think, that asthma, allergies, eczema, along with other types of disorders, can be associated with overactive immune cells. And in these cases, anti-inflammatory drugs are typically critical for reducing those symptoms. Now, several studies have indicated that fulvic acid can act as an anti-inflammatory by reducing the release of something called pro-inflammatory mediators from our cells, and that this fulvic acid can block allergic reactions in our body. Fulvic acid also can bond or bind with heavy metals and in a process called chelation. And then what it does is it converts them into inactive compounds, which can then be eliminated through our normal excretory processes. And as a form of natural chelation therapy, fulvic acid is capable of binding to and breaking down toxins and metals that enter the body through our food supply, our water, our prescription medications, household products, personal care products, air pollution. You get the whole picture. And this allows fulvic acid to act as a detoxification agent. And once it becomes reactive with metals, fulvic acid helps them to become more soluble in water, which means they're carried out of the body more easily. So fulvic acid is highly effective at neutralizing and detoxifying harmful toxins and pollutants, including lead and mercury. Fulvic acid can help you get rid of toxins that you've accumulated over a lifetime. So you'll notice a little bit of a boost in energy level and mood, and even sleep quality can improve significantly. Now, test tube and animal studies have shown that fulvic acid may improve disease resistance, it can increase immune defenses, fight inflammation, and enhance antioxidant activity, all of which are going to boost our immune health. And additionally, fulvic acid might reduce swelling and prevent or slow the growth of those unchecked cells. It's also been shown to be an effective antimicrobial in respiratory and urinary tract infections, as well as with the flu and the common cold. So, wow, what does this stuff not do, right? So, with its ability to attract electrolytes and other trace minerals and then transport those nutrients throughout the body, fulvic acid can ensure that better nutrient absorption. Now, scientists have found that fulvic acid makes nutrients more available from the food we ingest and thus corrects those deficiencies quickly and safely. Because when minerals and trace elements from food come in contact with fulvic acid, they're dissolved into a form that makes them more active and available to our bodies. And additionally, this compound makes cells more permeable and receptive to these nutrients. Well, as one example, fulvic acid primes the iron within our food so that it's easily utilized by the body, and it can correct these deficiencies quickly and easily. And that same action helps to correct numerous mineral deficiencies, including magnesium, which plays a key role in over 300 biochemical reactions in our bodies. The organisms we obtain from fulvic acid can be taken in very small doses and still cause fast, significant improvements in the ratio of bacteria living in our gut. Hold on. Had a little bit of a dry throat there. This helps lower many of those unwanted digestive symptoms like constipation or bloating, diarrhea, even food sensitivities. Essentially, think of it this way: fulvic acid mobilizes food to become our medicine. And folks, minerals are very important. Dr. Linus Pauling, who was the winner of 2 Nobel Prizes, stated, this is his quote, "You can trace every sickness, every disease, and every ailment ultimately to some mineral deficiency." Now, fulvic acid is considered to be one of the safest and most potent immune enhancing substances available today, and it can be used indefinitely for long periods of time without creating resistance. Research suggests that fulvic acid poses few side effects because an overdose isn't possible, as it's easily flushed from the system once consumed, considering it's completely natural. But that said, fulvic acid side effects can still occur, but they seem to mostly affect people who take very high amounts of fulvic acid. So it's really best to start slowly and increase your dosage in just small increments to make sure you experience no side effects. Now, diluting fulvic acid is also safer than taking it alone in high amounts. Now, some people may experience symptoms when beginning fulvic acid supplementation due to the detoxification effects of this compound. And while it won't be applied to everyone, it's possible that some people can experience temporary diarrhea or cramps, fatigue, headaches, or nausea. But again, it's not very common, and one would simply just reduce the dosage. They did a study, very small study with 30 men, and they concluded in that small study that a daily dose of 15 milliliters can be used safely without the risk of side effects, while the higher doses will induce those mild side effects, such as diarrhea, headaches, and sore throats, and things like that. Now, there's evidence that fulvic acid is more bioavailable when taken in a liquid form as opposed to a solid or a chunk form, because solid fulvic acid must be broken down by the digestive system before these nutrients can be utilized by the cells. But when taken as a liquid, it seems to enter the cells more quickly. It's also recommended that you use fulvic acid with filtered water, not tap water, as chlorine interacts with the humic acids in a negative way. So always try to use filtered water if possible. And it's also a good idea to take fulvic acid with foods, since it counteracts and detoxifies the contaminants, such as pesticides and chemicals, which are found in foods that aren't organic. You can take it about a half an hour before, 2 hours after eating, and that'll help to boost your detoxification abilities. So shake the product well and add just 2 milliliters to about 8 to 10 ounces of water. Now, keep in mind that the quality of the fulvic acid that you consume is essential for reaping its full benefits, because products with fulvic acid aren't regulated, so there's no telling what you might get. And if you're ingesting it from a source and you don't know how pure it is, you could be ingesting heavy metals like mercury and arsenic. In fact, there have been studies that shown an increase in lead, mercury, arsenic, and issues with lead poisoning from consuming an impure fulvic acid supplement. In fact, here's one example. There was the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, advised consumers not to use fulvic acid or fulvic care powder or tablets from a company called Black Oxygen Organics due to elevated levels of lead and arsenic. Now, the firm's website, of course, is no longer in service, but when discovered, the FDA pursued a recall. However, the firm went out of business in November of 2021 before performing the product recall. So we got to make sure we got the good stuff, don't we? So we're probably clear on fulvic acid at this point. So what I want to do now is take a look at lithothymnium calcareum, which is a bioavailable source of trace minerals. Now, lithothymnium calcareum is a mineral-rich red marine algae that grows in the cold Atlantic waters off the southwest coast of Ireland and the northwest coast of Iceland. And what this plant does is it extracts the minerals from the salt water and concentrates them in its fronds during its lifetime, resulting in the fronds becoming highly mineralized. And eventually, the mineral-rich fronds break off the living organism naturally and fall to the ocean floor. And then these calcified skeletal remains, as they're called, are then sustainably harvested, cleaned, and milled. So this red, what we call correlaceous algae, grows in its own shell, which is rich in calcium and magnesium. And it's extremely useful for detoxification, for eliminating water retention, reducing pain, and easing the effects of stress. So in addition to the calcium and magnesium, this algae also contains other minerals that are important to nutrition, such as zinc and potassium, selenium, copper, chromium, iodine, iron, manganese, and cobalt. And in comparison with other algae, researchers show that red and green algae contain higher levels of protein when compared to brown algae. And when the minerals and trace elements are obtained from a single plant source, they are more easily absorbed by the body. And this helps to minimize the side effects of gas and constipation that can occur when using supplements that include other forms of calcium. So, this algae directs calcium to the bone where it's needed and not to the soft tissue structures such as blood vessels. It stimulates bone growth, it improves bone mineral density, and thereby helps to protect against osteoporosis and other degenerative bone conditions. So, lithothamnion calcareum also reduces inflammatory responses in patients with joint pain. Again, its skeleton is primarily composed of carbonated calcium and magnesium. And these two elements represent 35% of the plant's dry weight. Now, calcium, of course, helps in digestion, it aids in regulating our metabolism, and it's also been shown to counteract lead poisoning. Whereas magnesium combats acids and toxins and gases and impurities in the body. And magnesium also helps to prevent deposits in joints, it can calm the nerves, it can act as a natural laxative. And additionally, magnesium and phosphorus help to restore our energy and vitality. So, unlike rock based minerals, plant based minerals found in seaweed provide dozens of trace minerals in their most bioavailable form. Now, by now, we're probably all familiar with zeolite. This is an excellent antioxidant and anti inflammatory agent. It's effective against unchecked cell growth. Natural clinoptilolite zeolite is renowned as a master detoxifier. It binds to heavy metals and toxins and helps to support gut health. Clinical trials in humans show it has a positive impact on the intestinal tract as it positively influences that intestinal wall integrity. And preclinical data furthermore suggests a positive impact on the intestinal microbiome. So, interestingly, the role of zeolite has been well recognized in veterinary medicine, where it's provided really clear evidence on improving the physical fitness of farm animals by removing numerous harmful substances from the body. So, it only makes sense to me that zeolite would be part of Fulvic Minerals Plus. Now, as a major source of electrolytes and antioxidants, fulvic acid helps to slow down aging and controls processes that lead to inflammation. It's been shown to improve various cellular processes in the body, muscle functioning in the body, digestive ability, heart health, brain health, and it works in part by helping those cells absorb the amount of minerals they need and then to discard the waste that we don't need. Fulvic acid can interrupt processes that contribute to brain and cognitive disorders. It's been shown to have immune enhancing and antioxidant effects that can help slow down the progression of unchecked cell growth. It also helps support the immune system to help defend the body against things like viruses and infections. And it seems to block those reactions in the body that cause allergy symptoms. So let's look at the bullet points. Fulvic Minerals Plus. One, it supports gut health by nourishing the gut, supporting a healthy microbiome, and improving digestion. Two, with over 70% of the immune system residing in our gut, a healthier gut means a stronger immunity. So your natural defenses work better. Three, trace minerals and fulvic compounds boost the absorption rate of nutrients so you get more nutrition from the foods that you eat. Four, fulvic acid compounds can easily pass through cellular membranes, facilitating the delivery of nutrients and the removal of waste for that optimal cell functioning. Five, Several minerals act as electrolytes, which activate these biological processes for increased energy without the downside of stimulants such as caffeine. Number six, preliminary research suggests that fulvic acid has neuroprotective benefits, supporting memory and overall brain health. Number seven, fulvic acid and trace minerals act as powerful antioxidants, which help to neutralize those damaging free radicals created in the body by toxins and processed foods and even intense exercise. And lastly, number eight, fulvic acid is believed to bind to certain toxins, helping to detoxify the body. So when fulvic acid is combined with natural zeolite and red algae, even more heavy metals and toxins are removed. And folks, it's of course it's important to understand that one supplement is not going to prevent or cure disease, but keeping your immune system healthy with a nutritious diet and other lifestyle factors can help defend your body against viruses, bacteria, pathogens, as well as toxins. And lastly, you should be aware that certain manufacturers use chemical extraction and plastic packaging for their products, which can result in fulvic acid toxicity. So in choosing a reliable fulvic acid brand, it should ideally be one that is GMO free, has no added chemicals or artificial ingredients, is free of pesticides, is certified organic, and is lab tested for quality. And that way, we're assured the best product and the best results. And this is what Touchstone Essentials always offers us: clean, effective, and safe products. So give your body that natural edge with Fulvic Minerals Plus, the only fulvic supplement to combine the power of fulvic acid, plant-based trace minerals, and natural zeolite. Just add some drops to your water every day and drink in the goodness. I really hope you've enjoyed learning about fulvic acid this evening, and that you'll join us a month from now on July 14th for our webinar on the importance of essential omega fatty acids. So thanks for joining us tonight, folks. Be well.